Awesome. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our workshop with Jonathan, CEO and co-founder of OneText. So I'm Maya, a founding engineer at 14AI.
I'm Jonathan, founder and CEO of OneText, and I feel very short right now.
And I'm Marie, co-founder of 14AI. Welcome, everyone.
So before we get started, if people want to write in the chat where they're calling from, and also our icebreaker question is, how many unread texts do you have on your phone currently?
So Jonathan, how many unread texts do you have? I think you respond very fast.
That's not where this is going. I currently have 2,172 unread texts. And you can see that that's not a joke.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
It's a little insane. So I will say, for work, obviously I subscribe to a lot of SMS marketing, and I pay close attention to most brands, but that you get a lot of marketing messages in this line of work, so that's okay. People I try to respond to within a couple weeks. So yeah.
And you, Maya, how is your unread?
I would say I try to keep it at inbox 0.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you?
It depends, I would say. I try for like friends and our customers, but otherwise it's also a bit catastrophic. Great. So Jonathan, you did YC. And what inspired you to start the company?
Yeah, great question. So before Y Combinator and before there was OneText, I was a product manager at PayPal. I worked on Pay with Venmo and some other really cool 0 to 1 payment experiences. And I was inspired by, there were a lot of startups at the time that were trying to make buying faster, but they had a lot of trouble with distribution. And so this aha moment hit me one day. I was actually on this couch and I said, what if your phone number could be a payment method? Right? What if you could tell every brand out there that if a brand knows its customer's phone number, that you could treat that phone number like it was a saved permanent card on file that you can charge and recharge. And what that unlocks is shopping goes from feeling like you're checking out at a grocery store to more like you're paying with your hotel room number. It's this frictionless, beautiful experience. And then also brands get a concierge who can reach out, talk to the shopper, solve problems, and help them make orders. So that's the core idea of OneText, and it still fuels us to this day, 3 years later.
And how was your YC experience?
Oh, it was amazing. It was absolutely fantastic. We worked with some incredible partners. Shout out to Jared, Pete, and Aaron, and they helped us hone our idea, do the work that we needed to scale, and taught some amazing lessons, particularly on the sales front as well. That was a big takeaway for us from YC.
Yeah, same for us. Our main partner is Tom,
Nice.
and he is really good at giving very direct feedback.
Yeah, some of the most direct feedback you'll ever get in your life, but they're good. It's good feedback.
Yes.
Sometimes you need to hear it. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much. It's super interesting to hear how you think about this and kind of seeing where OneText is growing. So you've described OneText as making shopping as effortless as replying to a text. What does frictionless e-commerce look like in practice, and what needs to change for most brands to get there?
Yeah, great question. There's so many things that can get in the way of somebody completing a transaction, right? And so a big part of what we try to do is we try to cut out all the noise so that, you truly can reply and buy with one text. That's why we're called OneText. And I think it's what we're most famous for. I think the other bit that we're really excited about is we think about, okay, well, what's the entire experience that leads up to that? We talk a lot today about our AI shopping cart, which is basically a whole set of features that deliver personalized messages and offers and completed carts to the shopper. And then we allow for things like upsells and recommendations and product discovery. So we really think a lot about how do we do all the hard work in advance so the shopper gets the right message with the right offer, with the right cart at the right time, and then all the work is taken away from them so they can just reply. It's hard to set up, but we try to take away all that pain. So it's pretty easy. Just turn on OneText. Maybe slightly more practical. I would say things that brands can do to get started. Take a look at ways that you can add up. Like, there are a lot of great solutions. We've built a way where you can try out OneText as a post-purchase upsell. So you can basically add it at the end of your buying journey. It does one thing. It says, thanks so much for your order. Would you like to buy something else? So we're working really hard on good, easy on-ramp. So hopefully that's a bit of an answer. How about for 14AI, right? How do you really quickly get into some of the cool stuff that you do?
Yeah, for 14 AI, similar to you, we wanted to make very easy for the end user, but actually behind the scene,
Yep,
it's our
crazy.
team.
Yes, yeah.
And I was also curious for you, what's your secret sauce and what did you do internally to make the best experience for your end user? I'm sure you have a very good technical team.
Yeah, we have an amazing technical team, and then we invest a lot in what we call customer success, right? But it's really the team that is the brand facing team for us, and so yeah, we always have the model very complicated on the inside, and like turning on our software, we integrate your inventory management system, we integrate your CRM, and maybe some additional marketing tools, and then also a payment processor. There's a lot of spaghetti there that we try to hold on to. So that's a big part of it. And then just making that as simple as possible, guiding people through it so that there's always one next clear step. I think that's something that we found. And then also the other thing, we need to get people to win really quickly. So that might be that they turn on a flow, that they get something cool, that they have this aha moment, and just making sure that we build our flows around how do we get somebody so that at the end of every call, there's a little bit of magic that they can see.
And I'm curious, usually traditional SMS is very old-fashioned and one way.
Yeah.
And it looks like with OneText, it's a two-way.
Yes.
Can you share more about the difference between the before, like the more old-fashioned way of softwares and yours?
Yeah, I think everything you said is 100%. SMS is usually kind of a spammy channel. Unfortunately, you're basically you're shooting. Yeah, I mean it is, right? I think we're maybe the only texting company that outright will say, yeah, a lot of SMS marketing can feel like spam, and so we try to be an antidote to that, right? You can send links and coupons and discounts to your shoppers, and there are times when you want to do that. It can perform really well, but it also can kind of be exhausting, and you can get more out of two-way, right? So when you can ask shoppers questions, when you can get them to engage, when you can send them tips and tricks of the week or a product drop of the week or a personalized offer, personalized cart, it changes your relationship with your shopper, becomes more interactive. Brands sign up for text for kind of two reasons. One is they don't actually want text, they just want the discount. And okay, there's not so much you can do, but the other is they actually really like this idea of having a relationship with their brand. That's what's appealing about it. It's like, yeah, like, this brand is a brand I love, and I would like them to slide into my DMs, and so you want to honor that, right? And I think you can honor that by being more personal, by being more two-way. Now, I think one thing that I think a lot about is there's a big difference between kind of being a chatbot and being something that can actually help people in the real world, whether that's giving them information about their orders, handling support requests, which I think that's probably 14 AI's, kind of zone of excellence, or in our case, it's actually helping people not just make here's a link to a product. Okay, you can do that on ChatGPT, but like, here's a cart for you, here's a recommendation, you can actually buy this. So I'm really excited when two-way is used to take an action on behalf of the shopper and not just a kind of a chatbot. So there are layers to it. There's one way, there's two-way, then there's two-way with an agent.
Amazing. I love it.
And yeah, now that we touched lightly on support, what are some examples of brands successfully bridging support and sales through text, and how has it helped them grow?
Ooh, okay, good question. So I would say, I think honestly, I don't think there's a difference in a lot of cases, right? We do some of the most important things we do happen after the order, and some of the most important support options happen before the order. I think one thing that we've seen is that e-commerce websites are really complicated today, right? There's there are just a lot of things that are in your face, and there are shoppers who can easily get overwhelmed. So we try to think, how do we help people? That might be maybe somebody saw that you were offering a promotion, but it disappeared, or they don't have the coupon code, or they don't know where that email is. Because we're able to know who they are from a phone number, we know every offer that's available. We stick you their offer and we say, hey, I'm here, I'm your concierge, I can help reach out to you and make a recommendation and help you place this order. And so there's an example in some of our materials where somebody says, thank you so much for your help. I wouldn't have purchased if you hadn't helped me, right? And then that was an order that happened through a text to buy channel. So we get messages like that all the time. And so for us, it's, we think if we can help the shopper apply an offer, get a recommendation, add something to their cart, or just remember to do them, we're blending support and sales together. Or sometimes a shopper has a question after an order, and you can reach out, and then insert an upsell or something into that as well. So there's always, anytime a customer is writing you, it's a chance to sell.
Yes, that's a good one. And you mentioned that OneText is in an intersection between payments, AI, and marketing.
Yeah.
In 2-3 years, how do you think the checkout experience will be?
Yeah, so right now we see that texting is often the top revenue channel, and so I think it's going to continue to expand. I think we're going to get to a world where, for many brands, the majority of their orders are from a one-to-one experience. And that's going to be, I think texting is going to be part of that. We're really excited about other one-to-one platforms. We think Instagram DM, we think in-app chat, we think on-site chat, we think phone calls. So I expect that the one-to-one shopping surface is going to be truly the number one way that people actually buy things. I believe that there's also, of course, the big elephant in the room is, what about ordering from LLMs like ChatGPT? What about having your agent buy for you? That's an interesting experience. I worry that, is it going to be completely kind of like the brand is hidden, right? You say, I just want to buy a blue shirt, and you don't even know what brand is being served. And also, does that brand have the ability to communicate with your buying agent? Can the brand say, yeah, we've got your blue shirt, but also we've got gray pants that go with it that you're going to like? Can the brand tell that to your buying agent? If yes, I think there's a really great future for it, and we'd love to be part of it. If no, I think that's really disappointing for shopping. So we're on the edge, but the one thing I know is brands need to own their presence, and they need to invest in the places where they do control their identity and where they do show up. And we think one-to-one shopping is going to be a huge, huge part of that.
Thank you.
So yeah, a little bit about SMS. So it's been around for decades, and I'm curious what were the biggest security or privacy concerns you had to tackle when building OneText on top of such an old protocol?
Yeah, it's interesting. So there are definitely some things to watch out for. So first of all, yes, you can reply and buy with OneText. We don't ask you for your credit card by text message. That would be crazy.
You think one day?
Yeah, no, that would be fraud. So we don't, or it would be a PCI violation. You can't, but there actually are ways you can use SMS to secure transactions. So when somebody sends you a text message, right, it feels conversational. Like, hey, would you like to buy this? Yeah, I'm in. And then you send back. That's actually an SMS verification. It's the same level of security as asking for a random code. So there are a lot of benefits to using texting for security if you're correct about it. There are things to watch out for. So, for example, if I steal your phone, we have a security measure in place. So I cannot use your card on file with OneText and then ship a product to my house, right? So I can't use your saved information, but inject my address. I would need to go through a flow where there would be an authentication step up, and you'd have to provide more information. So that's one thing that we do for security. We're rapidly moving to RCS. So we're really excited about that, which is just the next step up. It's still not encrypted, but we're hoping that becomes the standard. And then we do a lot of work for PCI compliance to make sure your information is secure, to make sure that it's not easy to phish. And then I think another thing that matters a lot is just how does the brand show up? So consistent branding and consistent domains. Most texting services don't actually let you send your own domain. So basically you're sending a link that to the shopper just looks like a random series of letters, and you might be using a reputable company, but the shopper can't know that those random strings of numbers are a safe link versus the scam that's in the next thread over. So I think one thing that I'd like to see the market move to is every single time you should be sending from a very clear URL if you're showing a URL. Because you want to help your messages stand out from the scams.
And a more technical questions. Are there any differences between iMessage and Android's RCS for security or checkout flows?
Yes, it's really interesting. So one stat that kind of blows my mind, we see that 80% of our volume is on iOS, 80% of our sales volume. It's not necessarily where the messages are being sent, but it's where the actual order is happening. So iOS is huge. In terms of the security, I would say from what we've seen, it is pretty consistent. I guess the difference is if you're messaging a friend on an Android device, then you can get encrypted RCS. That's not available in the business space, though. So for us, sending to iOS versus sending to Android, there's not much security. I guess on Android, well, on any device, you should lock your phone. It's basically really hard to turn off on iOS. It's maybe not quite as hard to turn off on Android, but it's still pretty hard. I mean, if you've got a good device, I think everyone has learned that you need to lock your phone. So that's important. That it helps prevent against SIM attack. Well, maybe not. So it helps protect against a lot of SMS-based attacks. So lock your phone. And then, I think other things for security, the more you can make sure that the message is personal and has shopper context in it, that helps people gain trust and feel good about it.
Amazing. And we have a question from Matthew.
Ooh.
How do you think about UX from the customer perspective in providing value with recommendations, but not overfilling the user's messages?
Oh, yeah. Super, super important. So this is something we think a lot about, right? So the metaphor that we use is we want to feel like when you walk into a high-end store, like let's say you go to shopping at Saks or kind of you name high-end, Tiffany's, like a really nice store, you're going to have a sales agent who walks up to you and they're going to offer to help you, and then they're going to make a recommendation, and they are not going to overdo it. They are going to, they're going to basically have something very specific in mind, and then they will help you actually check out. They'll say, great, let me take this behind the register. I'm going to handle it for you. So that's what we want to do. And so we think a lot about, first of all, can we skip questions? So we distinguish on our platform between what we call non-negotiables and preferences. If you're buying a shirt, size is non-negotiable. If you don't have the shopper's size, they're not going to buy. For pants, it's width and length. There are a lot of things like that are non-negotiable. We might know the shopper's non-negotiables from our network. And if so, we don't have to ask them for their size. We can confirm, by the way, I pulled this out for you in size small. So that's we try to automate all of the non-negotiables. And then for preferences, we don't want to give you a long list. Right? We don't want to say, great, it comes in 18 different colors. Would you like A for this, B for that? No. So we're trying to move beyond that and basically say, look, I love this in the burgundy. I think you will too. But I've got a couple of other cool colors if you want to see. So we want to cut down through choices. And I think that's where one-to-one shopping wins. If we are just replicating the store, But if we can give a better, more personalized experience where we're helping you make that decision because we know a lot about your journey, that's where I think the UX of one-to-one shopping gets better than what you get on a website. So that's where we're investing in.
We have another question from the audience. What signals tell you a brand is ready for conversational commerce? Is it a certain size, level of engagement, vertical, or mindset?
Ooh, good question. So I would say if you are ready for texting, you should be taking a look and moving in this direction. And that really probably means you're doing around 1 to 2 million in sales. That's what we've seen. I think that's really the sweet spot for us. If you're a little bit early, doesn't mean that it's a complete no, but as a brand, there are a lot of kind of basics you want to have in place. You want to have product market fit. You want to have a repeatable ads network. And then it's also, that you need to have enough people coming to your site that when you turn on SMS, you can have a big enough list that's meaningful, right? If you message, your abandoned carts and you get 5 to 10% of people to convert, is that going to be good for your business? If yes, then great, you should be using SMS. If not, then probably there's some other areas to focus on. But once you hit that $2 million threshold, it's time. Let's chat.
Amazing. And so once it's time and that they start onboarding with you, what advice would you give to founders, to the customer experience leader to make sure it's a success?
Yeah, really, really good question. I would say think about your brand voice, right? Every single time people get a message from you, it is a moment to engage with your brand. And so you want to make sure that everything going out is a good fit. Are you snarky? Are you funny? Are you helpful? You want to think about how do you show up so that if the brand is hidden and the link is hidden, you just have the meat of the message, they should know who's sending the text. I think that's really, really important. So how do you convey that? And then we can work with those signals to make a conversational experience that follows that pattern really nicely. So we love that. We love it when brands really think through kind of what the end-to-end experience is. So that's my main recommendation. And then the other thing to watch out for, obviously discounts are a great way to motivate people. I love it when brands are doing more than just hitting me every couple of days with a discount offer. I think if you can inject your personality into it, give me tips, give me tricks, give me recommendations, then that really cuts through.
Yeah. And we have a great comment from Crystal.
Woo, shout out to Crystal. She's amazing. Yeah.
And she really cares about also the level of personalization in the product recommendation.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. The more you know about a shopper, the better you can do. And so we think about how do we get signals from the shopper? That's the conversation. It's their cart. It's their order history. Potentially might actually be signals that we get from other brands. So being really personalized, the more personalized you can get the better, right? And there, let's say somebody has told you that they're looking for a shirt, and maybe they've never carted a shirt, but they have carted pants, right? Can you find a shirt that goes well with the pants that they previously carted? Even if they didn't buy those pants, there was probably a reason why they picked that style. You can make a better recommendation, and that shirt might be buried on page 6, right? So this is why I am long on this channel. I think that there's a lot that you can do in the one-to-one shopping space that you just cannot do conventionally on a website. And so that really excites me. And it's also a thing where it's like, can you really do that good a job, ChatGPT? I don't think so. Bring it on. Come at me, Sam. So I think that there's a really good future for branded messaging. Yeah.
Amazing.
And yeah, thank you so much. And looking ahead, what's your vision for the future of text-based commerce? Anything you're really excited about? And of course, how do you see AI transforming the way that people engage in this channel?
Absolutely. So, and we would say, and this has been a conversation we've been having internally, we view our surface area as one-to-one shopping. Texting is a huge part of that, and text is definitely always going to be part of that. But there are a lot of different ways that you can deploy that. So today we do mostly SMS. We are starting on RCS. Which is really exciting. In Q1 for select pilots, we're going to be able to slide into Instagram and Facebook Messenger DMs. There are going to be a lot of surfaces where you have an opportunity to have a one-to-one interaction with your customer. And I'm telling you, it's crazy, but that is going to become the majority of your revenue, not just your top channel. We think that's going to be where the majority of sales actually happen in the future. And so we want to be the platform for one-to-one shopping. And how does AI impact it? I think AI is huge, right? We want to get to a world, and we envision a world where every single message is AI generated. Today, you have a lot of pre-written triggers. So you might have a human written message or a human approved message. And then maybe you have a hey, can I help you find anything today type of message that a shopper replies to that triggers an AI interaction. But eventually every single touch point will be created by an AI. And I think the other thing that's going to happen is that, 10 years ago, Amazon set the standard for what a good e-commerce website was. And then Shopify came in and they basically allowed every brand to deploy an Amazon quality website on their own. And so I think we're going to see that same paradigm with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to train shoppers to shop by chat. And then it's on OneText to make sure that every single brand can deploy a ChatGPT quality experience, although we think it could be better, experience for their brand in their own voice to their own shoppers, right? So kind of to be that Shopify to the Amazon. And so that's the zone that we want to be. And I think that's how AI is going to change the consumer expectation. And so we're here for it.
Very exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
Thank you. And thank you so much, Jonathan. And thank you so much to everybody who joined us live. So stay tuned for next week. We're going to be we're going to be sending a link for our workshop on customer feedback. So we'd love it if you joined us. And stay tuned for the workshop recap. It's going to go live on our blog. And yeah, again, thank you so much to everybody for coming, and hope to see you next week. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
Bye.